Most of you are manifesting constantly, but unconsciously operating under the false belief that you are a limited being striving against a world outside yourself. You push, you struggle, you force, and in doing so, you create resistance. And what you resist persists. This is law. Let me share with you a simple truth that has liberated countless individuals. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness, true inner relaxation, is not idleness. It is the most profound state of consciousness you can enter. For in that stillness you recognize your true identity as the creative power of God. In your imagination, which is God in action within you, all things exist now. Not tomorrow, not after you have struggled sufficiently, but now. Your future is not created. It is selected from infinite possibilities that already exist in the imagination. And it is selected by your consciousness, by the state you occupy. When I tell you to relax and let the universe manifest anything for you, I am instructing you to surrender your limited ego identity and enter the state of consciousness where you are one with the thing desired. This is the true meaning of relaxation in spiritual law. Consider a man who desires wealth. If he approaches this desire from a state of lack, pushing against poverty, forcing himself to work ever harder, he perpetuates the very condition he seeks to escape. But if this same man relaxes his identification with lack and instead assumes the consciousness of wealth, feeling its reality, dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled, he allows the infinite intelligence within him to rearrange the patterns of his life to conform to this new assumption. This is what I mean by letting the universe manifest. You are not asking something outside yourself to give you what you want. You are allowing your deeper self, God in you, to express through you the state you have assumed. The universe is not something separate that acts upon your behalf. The universe is your own wonderful human imagination externalized, as within, so without, as above, so below. There is no power outside of you that creates your reality. You are that power. You are the universe individualized as a man or woman. Many of you leave these talks and immediately begin to work hard at your manifestations. You repeat affirmations, you visualize intensely, you try to believe, and in this very trying, you acknowledge that what you seek is not yet yours. This is the fundamental error, the reason so many sincere spiritual seekers fail to realize their desires. True relaxation comes when you know not believe, but know that what you desire is already yours in the reality of your imagination. And your imagination is not some fantasy-producing faculty. It is God himself operating in and as you. The eternal body of man is the imagination. That is God himself. Let me share with you a principle that may revolutionize your understanding. The state of consciousness you enter after you have received your desire is the state that manifests it. Not the state of seeking, not the state of wanting, not even the state of believing you will receive. This is why I instruct you to construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, to enter that scene in imagination, to make it real and natural, and then to relax in the knowledge that what you have experienced in imagination must objectify itself in your world. This is law, not because some benevolent universe is granting your wish, but because the universe is responding to your consciousness, which is the only creative power that exists. You are always drawing your future from the sum of your consciousnesses. Your body, your circumstances, your entire life experience is simply your consciousness objectified. Nothing comes to you except what is the outpicturing of your states of consciousness. When I tell you to relax, I am not suggesting a mere physical relaxation, though that often accompanies the deeper state I am describing. I am speaking of the profound relaxation that comes from surrendering your anxious, conscious thinking and entering the state of the wish fulfilled. It is the Sabbath of consciousness, where you rest from your labor and behold the work as complete. Consider the words of Scripture. And God rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. This rest is not the cessation of creative activity. It is the cessation of the belief that anything remains to be done. In this rest, this relaxation, you acknowledge the completeness of creation. And in that acknowledgement, you allow your desire to externalize itself according to its own divine timing and pattern. Many seek to manifest specifics, a particular job, a particular person, a particular sum of money. And there is nothing wrong with this specificity. But let me share a deeper approach. Manifest the feeling, the essence, the state of consciousness that you believe these specifics would give you. For it is the state, not the specifics, that your deeper self responds to. If you desire wealth, what is it about wealth that you truly seek? Is it security, freedom, the sense of expansion? Manifest these states directly by assuming them in consciousness. As you dwell in these states, the specifics that match them will naturally appear in your world, often in ways far more wonderful than your conscious mind could devise. This is the true meaning of let the universe manifest anything for you. It is not about passivity. It is about assuming the state that allows the infinite intelligence within you to bring about the perfect externalization of that state. This intelligence knows far better than your conscious mind how to manifest the essence of your desire in its most satisfying form. Some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I have tried this approach and nothing happened. To this I must ask, did you truly enter the state? Did you actually assume the consciousness of the wish fulfilled? Or did you merely affirm it, visualize it while retaining your old identity, your old state? The secret is not in trying to convince yourself of something you don't believe. The secret is in transferring your sense of reality, your sense of I-ness, from your current state to the desired state. When you can say I am and feel the reality of what follows that I am with the same naturalness that you now say I am and feel your present limitations, then you have truly entered the state. And once you have entered the state, persist in it, not through effort, but through the relaxed knowing that this is now who you are. Your outer world must conform to this new identity. It has no choice, for the outer world is simply consciousness objectified. Let me share with you an experience that illustrates this principle perfectly. A woman who attended my lectures in New York was in desperate financial straits. She had no job, no prospects, and her resources were nearly depleted. Rather than frantically searching for employment or bemoaning her situation, she followed my guidance and constructed a simple scene that implied financial security. Each night, as she lay in her bed, she imagined her financial advisor congratulating her on her wise investments and assuring her that her future was secure. She did not concern herself with how this would come about. She simply entered the scene and felt its reality until it took on the tones of reality. 3 weeks passed with no external change. Then a letter arrived from an attorney informing her that a distant relative, whom she had met only once as a child, had passed away and left her a substantial inheritance. Within a month, the very conversation she had been imagining with the financial advisor took place, almost word for word as she had envisioned it. Now, the skeptic would call this coincidence. The metaphysician might call it the law of attraction. But I tell you, it was nothing more or less than the law of consciousness in operation. She had transferred her identity from one of lack to one of abundance, and the universe, her own wonderful human imagination, externalized, rearranged itself to match this new identity. The key to her success was not in the repetition of her imaginal act, though that was important. The key was in her relaxation into the state of the wish fulfilled. She did not anxiously look for results. She did not continually check her mailbox or scan employment listings. She lived from the assumption that all was well, that her financial security was a fact. And in that relaxation, she allowed the infinite intelligence to bring about the manifestation in the most natural way. This is what I mean when I tell you to relax and let the universe manifest anything for you. I am instructing you to assume the state of the wish fulfilled and then relax in the absolute knowing that what you have assumed must objectify itself. Now, someone might ask, if imagination creates reality, why do my negative imaginations seem to manifest more readily than my positive ones? The answer lies in what you accept as natural, as real, as true of yourself. Your habitual assumptions, the concepts you hold about yourself and the world. These are the deeply established states that manifest consistently. When you attempt to imagine a new, desired state, but return immediately to a habitual state of consciousness, it is the habitual state that manifests. This is why persistence in the new state is essential. Not persistence through strain and effort, but persistence through relaxed familiarity. Make the new state your home. Dwell there. Live from there. See the world from there. React to events from there. As you do this, what was once an effort becomes natural, and what was once natural, your old state begins to feel foreign. This is the transformation of consciousness that precedes external change. Some of you believe that you could just find the right technique, the perfect affirmation, the most effective visualization method, then manifestation would occur easily. But I tell you that all techniques serve only one purpose: to aid you in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If a technique helps you to achieve this state, it is useful. If it becomes a mechanical exercise without the feeling of fulfillment, it is useless. The entire basis of successful manifestation can be summed up in one sentence: consciousness is the only reality. Not your thoughts about reality, not your hopes for reality, not your fears about reality, but your state of consciousness itself. What you are conscious of being, you manifest. If you are conscious of lack, you manifest lack regardless of how many positive affirmations you repeat. If you are conscious of abundance, you manifest abundance even if your external circumstances momentarily suggest otherwise. The lag between the change of consciousness and its objectification is the testing ground for your faith in this principle. During this interval between the internal change and its external manifestation, you must relax. Not in the sense of becoming passive or inactive, but in the profound spiritual sense of knowing that the work is done. The seed has been planted, and it must grow. Your role now is to remain faithful to the new state, not through effort, but through the relaxed naturalness of being what you desire to be. Now, let me address a question that often arises: what about action? Surely we must do something to bring about our desires. Yes, there will be action, but it will be inspired action, action that flows naturally from your new state of consciousness. When you have truly assumed the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find yourself automatically saying the right words, taking the right steps, making the right decisions, not through calculated planning, but through the natural expression of your new identity. This is the meaning of signs follow. They do not precede. The actions that bring about your desire are the effect, not the cause of the change in consciousness. Think of the man who desires a promotion. He can struggle and strain, working overtime, attempting to impress his superiors. Or he can assume the consciousness of already being in the higher position, feeling the satisfaction, the responsibility, the identity of one who occupies that role. From this latter approach, his actions will naturally align with his assumed identity. He may very well work overtime, but it will not be from anxiety. It will be from the natural expression of who he now believes himself to be. The universe, your own wonderful human imagination, externalized response not to your actions, but to your state of consciousness. Your actions are merely the outpicturing of this consciousness. Thus, when I tell you to relax and let the universe manifest anything for you, I am telling you to place your faith in the causal power of consciousness itself, not in the effects that flow from it. Many of you have heard the biblical instruction: seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom of God is not a place. It is a state of consciousness. It is the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. When you seek this state first, when you make your primary aim the attainment of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then all the outer things, all the conditions and circumstances that match this state must follow. This is why relaxation is so essential. In relaxation, you surrender the limitations of your conscious, reasoning mind and open yourself to the infinite intelligence of your deeper self. This intelligence knows exactly how to manifest the essence of your desire in its most perfect form. Consider how a seed grows. If you plant a seed and then dig it up every day to see if it's growing, you interfere with the natural process. Similarly, if you assume a new state of consciousness but constantly analyze and question whether it's working, you impede the manifestation. Plant the seed of your desire by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then relax, knowing that the infinite intelligence within you is bringing it to fruition according to its own perfect timing and pattern. Your role is not to force growth, but to provide the fertile ground of sustained consciousness. I have often been asked, Neville, how long must I persist in my imaginal act before it manifests? The answer varies, for time is not the determining factor. The determining factor is the intensity of the feeling, the completeness of the assumption, and your ability to relax in the knowledge that what you have experienced in imagination is now a fact in consciousness. For some, manifestation occurs almost instantly. For others, there may be a considerable interval. But in all cases, the principle is the same: the intensity of the feeling, not the duration of the imaginal act, determines the speed and certainty of objectification. When you imagine your desire with such vivid realism that you feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of attainment, and when this feeling is unmixed with doubt or anxiety, you have captured the essence of successful manifestation. You have planted the seed in the most fertile soil. And having planted it, you must then relax and allow it to grow. This is faith in its purest form. Not faith in some external power, but faith in the absolute creative power of your own consciousness. According to your faith, be it done unto you means according to what you are conscious of being. It is done unto you. Many of you struggle with persistent negative thoughts and fears that seem to undermine your manifestations. You imagine the desired state, but then immediately entertain doubts and contradictions. This divided consciousness cannot produce clear results, just as a filmmaker cannot produce a coherent movie by constantly changing the script. The solution is not to fight against negative thoughts, for what you resist persists. The solution is to so completely occupy the desired state that there is simply no room for contradiction. When you are fully absorbed in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, negative thoughts do not need to be suppressed. They simply have no place in your consciousness. This total absorption, this complete identification with the state desired, leads to the true relaxation I am describing. It is the relaxation of knowing, not the tension of hoping. It is the peace of completion, not the anxiety of seeking. And in this relaxation, you allow the seed you have planted to grow according to its own divine pattern. You do not dictate the exact manner in which your desire will manifest. You trust the wisdom of your deeper self to bring it about in the way that is perfect for you. I have observed over many years of teaching these principles that those who are most successful in manifestation are those who can most completely abandon themselves to the feeling of the wish fulfilled and then relax in the knowledge that it is done. They do not continuously check for results. They do not repeatedly revise their imaginal scene. They do not compare today's circumstances with yesterday's to see if progress is being made. Instead, they assume the natural confidence of one who knows that what has been established in consciousness must objectify itself in experience. And in this relaxed confidence, they allow the manifestation to unfold in its own perfect way and timing. Let me share with you another principle that may deepen your understanding. The outside world is dead. By this I mean that the external world has no power to create your experience. It is simply the outpicturing of consciousness. What you are experiencing now is the harvest of seeds planted in consciousness in your past. And what you will experience tomorrow is being planted in consciousness today. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand why I emphasize relaxation so strongly. For if the external world is simply consciousness objectified, then your primary work is not to manipulate external conditions, but to establish the state of consciousness from which desired conditions naturally flow. This is the true meaning of the biblical instruction: judge not according to appearances. When you judge according to appearances, you perpetuate those appearances. When you transcend appearances and judge from the state of the wish fulfilled, appearance form appearances. Many spiritual seekers fail at this crucial point. They affirm that all is well while staring anxiously at circumstances that contradict this affirmation. They try to believe in abundance while feeling the emotional reality of lack. This divided consciousness cannot produce clear results. The secret is to so completely enter the state of the wish fulfilled that you perceive current circumstances from that state, not as contradictions to it. From the consciousness of wealth, temporary financial limitations are merely the dissolving shadows of a former state, not facts to be fought against. From the consciousness of perfect health, physical symptoms are merely the passing evidences of a state you have transcended in consciousness. This is what it means to relax and let the universe, your own wonderful human imagination, externalized, manifest your desires. It means to so completely identify with the state desired that you view the world from that state, not as someone hoping to attain it. Some of you may be wondering, is this approach practical in a world of responsibilities and obligations? Indeed it is. In fact, it is the most practical approach possible, for it addresses the causal level of experience rather than the level of effects. When you change your state of consciousness, you change the cause from which all effects proceed. This is far more efficient than struggling to change effects while maintaining the consciousness that produced them. It is the difference between damming a river and changing its source. The practical application of this principle requires nothing more than your willingness to revise your concept of self. Who are you? Your answer to this question determines everything you experience. If you believe yourself to be limited, struggling, separate from your good, then this is what you manifest. If you claim the identity of one for whom all things are possible, for whom abundance is natural, for whom fulfillment is a fact, then this is what you manifest. And the bridge between these identities is your imagination. In imagination, you can try on a new identity as you would try on a new garment. You can feel its contours, experience its freedom, sample its attributes. And as you persist in this new identity, it becomes you, or more accurately, you become it. This is not pretending or self-deception. This is the discovery of a deeper truth about yourself. The truth that you are not the limited being you have believed yourself to be, but the unlimited expression of infinite consciousness, capable of assuming any state you can conceive. What state are you assuming now? What identity are you claiming? Whatever it is, that is what you are manifesting. If it's not what you desire to manifest, then assume a new state. Not through struggle or strain, but through the relaxed knowing that you are the operant power, the consciousness from which all conditions flow. Let me address one more aspect of this principle that often causes confusion, the role of gratitude in manifestation. Many teachers emphasize gratitude as a technique for manifestation, and indeed gratitude is a powerful state. But it is powerful not because it pleases some external God or universe, but because it is a state that aligns with the consciousness of fulfillment. When you are genuinely grateful, you are in the consciousness of having received. You are not seeking, you are acknowledging receipt. This is precisely the consciousness that manifests more to be grateful for. But gratitude as a technique, as something you do to get something, misses the mark. True gratitude flows naturally from the consciousness of the wish fulfilled. It is not the cause of fulfillment. It is the natural response to fulfillment. As you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find gratitude arising spontaneously. You will feel thankful not because you have been taught that gratitude is necessary for manifestation, but because the fulfillment of your desire naturally evokes this response. And in this natural gratitude, you further stabilize the state of fulfillment, making it more completely your own, more thoroughly your dwelling place. This is the cycle of manifestation. Assumption leads to fulfillment. Fulfillment evokes gratitude. Gratitude stabilizes assumption. In closing, let me remind you of the central truth upon which all successful manifestation rests. You are the creative power of the universe individualized as a man or woman. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you manifest. Therefore, to manifest anything, be it wealth, health, love, or any other desire of your heart, you need only assume the consciousness of already having it, and then relax in the absolute knowing that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in your experience. This is what it means to relax and let the universe manifest anything for you. It means to know that you are the universe, that your consciousness is the creative power, and that by assuming the state of the wish fulfilled, you have initiated the process of manifestation that must, by law, complete itself in objective experience. Go forth from this place tonight with this knowledge firmly established in your consciousness. Select a desire that, if fulfilled, would bring you joy. Construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Enter that scene in imagination until it feels as real as the room in which you sit. Feel the naturalness of it, the reality of it. Then relax knowing that what you have experienced in imagination is now a seed planted in consciousness that must bear fruit in your outer world. Do not be anxious about results. Do not continually check to see if anything has changed. Simply dwell in the relaxed confidence of one who knows that what is established in consciousness must objectify itself according to its own divine timing and pattern. Remember always that the state of consciousness you occupy is the reality from which all circumstances flow. Therefore, seek not to change circumstances, seek to change consciousness. For when consciousness is changed, circumstances must change to match it. This is law. I leave you tonight with this absolute assurance. The universe is not something separate from you that must be persuaded or manipulated to grant your wishes. The universe is your own wonderful human imagination externalized. Therefore, relax in the knowledge of who you truly are. Assume the state of wish fulfilled, and let your desires manifest naturally as the outpicturing of your consciousness. For you are the operant power, you are the creative force, you are God in expression. And to God, all things are possible. Not through struggle, not through strain, but through the relaxed knowing that what is assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in experience. Relax, and let the universe, your own wonderful human imagination, externalized, manifest anything for you. For in truth, it is not the universe manifesting for you, it is you manifesting as the universe. You are the author and finisher, the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega of your experience. Rest in this knowledge and watch the miracles unfold. The secret I am about to share with you is this. Your imagination is the creative power of the universe. And what you assume to be true will invariably manifest in your reality. This is not metaphor or allegory, but the very foundation of existence itself. You are not merely experiencing reality, you are creating it in every moment through the power of your assumptions and beliefs. Now you might be wondering, Neville, if this is true, why am I not already living my ideal life? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. Most people are unaware of this creative power within them. They live their lives reacting to external circumstances, not realizing that these very circumstances are the outpicturing of their inner states. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner assumptions. These assumptions are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And just as a seed grows into a plant, your assumptions grow into your experienced reality. This is why many people find themselves stuck in patterns of lack, of struggle, of not enoughness. They have unknowingly been planting these seeds in their subconscious mind through years of repetitive thoughts and feelings of limitation. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to choose what seeds you plant. You have the ability to consciously assume the state of your wish fulfilled, regardless of your current circumstances. So how do we begin this process of conscious creation? The first step is to clearly define what you wish to experience. Be specific. Don't simply say, I want to be successful. Instead, imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like when you are living your ideal reality. How do you feel? What are you doing? How do you spend your time? The more specific and detailed your vision, the more clearly you communicate with your subconscious mind. Once you have this clear vision, the next step is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is crucial. You must feel the reality of your desire now, not in some distant future. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. So if you constantly feel that your desire is something in the future, it will always remain in the future. Instead, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled now. How would you feel if your desire were already realized? Would you feel joyful, confident, free, grateful? Embody these feelings. Live from this state of being. This is not pretending or lying to yourself. This is assuming a new state of consciousness, which is the very essence of creation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I feel something that isn't yet true? This is where the power of your imagination comes into play. Your imagination is the bridge between your current reality and your desired state. It is through your imagination that you can step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even before it manifests in the physical world. Your imagination is not a flight of fancy or a frivolous faculty. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your future. When you imagine, you are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level. You are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption. To use your imagination effectively, you must first quiet your conscious mind. The chattering of your daily thoughts, your worries, your doubts, these must be silenced. Enter a state of relaxation, a state akin to sleep, but in which you remain consciously aware. In this state, your subconscious mind becomes more receptive to impression. Once in this relaxed state, construct your scene. This scene should be one that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for a successful career, you might imagine yourself in your ideal office or receiving congratulations from colleagues. If it's financial abundance you seek, imagine yourself looking at your bank statement with joy and gratitude. The scene itself should be short and simple. It's not about creating an elaborate story, but about capturing a moment that implies your desire is now a fact. This scene is your platform, the stage upon which you will enact the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now, step into this scene. Don't watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment. And as you experience it, let the feeling of fulfillment wash over you. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the satisfaction of having your desire realized. This is where many falter in their attempts at manifestation. They can see the scene clearly, but they fail to evoke the feeling. Remember, it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. Without feeling, visualization is merely a mental exercise. With feeling, it becomes an act of creation. As you practice this, you may find that the feeling comes more easily with repetition. Each time you return to your scene, the feeling becomes more vivid, more real. This is good. You are strengthening the impression upon your subconscious mind. But here's a crucial point. Once you have evoked the feeling, once you have impressed it upon your subconscious, you must carry it with you into your waking life. This is where many stumble. They do their visualization exercise. They feel it intensely in the moment. But then they return to their daily life and fall back into old patterns of thought and feeling. To manifest your desire to keep winning, you must maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of contradictory evidence. This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer be swayed by appearances. You will know that what you see around you is the effect, not the cause. The cause lies in your consciousness, in your feeling. And as you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner conviction. Now let us address a common challenge in this practice, the apparent contradictions of your senses. As you begin to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. How do you maintain your feeling in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring comes into play. To ignore is not to deny the existence of something, but to refrain from giving it your attention and energy. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions, past feelings. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption than to these outdated circumstances. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your feelings, shows you what will be. As you persist in maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small. A fortunate coincidence, an unexpected opportunity, a shift in someone's behavior towards you. Do not dismiss these as mere chance. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of feeling and manifestation. When I speak of feeling, I am not referring merely to impatience, though emotions play a part. I am speaking of a deeper sense, a knowing, an unshakable conviction. It is the difference between saying I want to be successful and knowing the very core of your being I am successful. This feeling conviction is not something you can fake or force. It arises naturally when you have successfully impressed your desire upon your subconscious mind. This is why the repeated use of your imagination is so crucial. Each time you return to your imaginal scene, each time you step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are deepening this impression. Think of it like wearing a groove in a record. The first time you play the record, the needle may skip and jump. But with repeated plays, the groove deepens and the music plays smoothly. Similarly, as you repeat your imaginal act, the feeling becomes more natural, more habitual. It becomes your dominant state. This is the state from which creation occurs. When you can maintain this feeling conviction throughout your day, when it becomes as natural as breathing, you have mastered the art of conscious creation. Your outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner state. This is the secret to never-ending winning. But what are those moments when doubt creeps in? When fear arises? When the old patterns of thought and feeling try to reassert themselves? These moments are inevitable, especially in the beginning of your practice. Do not be discouraged by them. Instead, see them as opportunities to strengthen your new assumption. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Fighting against the thought only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your feeling of wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that what you see around you is the past. Your new assumption, your new feeling is creating your future. This brings us to another crucial aspect of winning, the concept of living in the end. Living in the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled in your day-to-day life. It's not enough to visualize for a few minutes each day and then return to your old patterns of thought and feeling. You must carry the feeling of your wish fulfilled with you throughout your day. This doesn't mean you deny your current circumstances. Rather, you acknowledge them briefly, then immediately return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. You live from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, you would feel the security, freedom, and joy of wealth as you go about your day. When you make purchases, you would feel the ease and confidence of someone who has more than enough. When you interact with others, you would carry yourself with the assurance of a wealthy person. Living in the end requires a shift in your entire way of being. It's not about pretending or play acting. It's about genuinely assuming a new state of consciousness. When you do this effectively, you'll find that your actions naturally align with your assumed state, accelerating the manifestation process. Now let us address the role of action in this process of continuous winning. Some people mistakenly believe that manifesting means they can simply imagine their desires and then sit back and wait for them to magically appear. This is not the case. The secret to never-ending winning does not negate action, it informs action. When you successfully impress your desire upon your subconscious mind, When you truly feel your wish fulfilled, you will be inspired to take actions that align with this state. These actions will feel natural, even inevitable. They will not be driven by fear or lack, but will flow from your assumed state of fulfillment. This is a crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get what you desire, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having it. But when you take action from the assumption of already having your desire fulfilled, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for its expression and expansion. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state. Let your feeling guide your actions, rather than hoping your actions will create the feeling. This alignment of inner state and outer action is key to continuous winning. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to winning. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about your desire. Rather, it means you're not anxiously attached to seeing immediate results or figuring out how your desire will manifest. When you're detached, you can imagine and feel your desire fulfilled without constantly looking for signs of its manifestation. You trust in the process, knowing that as you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it must inevitably express itself in your outer world. Detachment allows you to live in the present moment while holding your assumed state. It frees you from the anxiety and doubt that can slow down the manifestation process. It allows you to enjoy the journey of manifestation rather than being solely focused on the destination. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your imaginal act, imbued with feeling, is the reality. What you see in the outer world is just a shadow, a reflection of past assumptions. As you persist in your new assumption, this shadow must change to match the new reality you're imagining and feeling. Let us now address the importance of gratitude in continuous winning. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of living in the end. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for your desire, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for it as if it were already yours. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms, the air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has their desire fulfilled. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as the realization of your desire. This is another key to never-ending winning. Now let us explore the power of revision in manifesting continuous wins. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing that the past only exists in your mind, and therefore it can be changed in your mind. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review the events of your day. If there were any events that were not to your liking, revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that aligns with your desired state. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. By doing this, you are not denying what physically happened. You are changing the impact of that event on your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon your subconscious a reality that aligns with your desires rather than one that contradicts them. As you make this practice of revision a habit, you will find that your reactions to current events begin to change. You'll become less reactive, more peaceful, more aligned with your desired states of being. This alignment accelerates the manifestation process, ensuring that you continue to win in all areas of life. Let us now discuss the importance of persistence in continuous winning. While we speak of manifesting desires, it's important to understand that the speed of manifestation can vary. Some desires may manifest almost instantly, while others may take more time. The key is to persist in your assumption, regardless of how long it seems to be taking. Remember The outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you waive an assumption, if you lose faith in the process, you send mixed signals to your subconscious mind, which can slow down the manifestation process. Persistence doesn't mean forcing or struggling. It means consistently returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. It means choosing again and again to live from the end, to embody the state of having your desire realized. This persistence requires faith, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, and that as you persist in your new assumption, your world must reshape itself to match it. Now let us address the role of self-concept in continuous winning. Your self-concept, the beliefs you hold about who you are, is perhaps the most powerful factor in determining what you can manifest in your life. Many people struggle to manifest their desires because their self-concept contradicts what they're trying to achieve. They may visualize wealth, but deep down, they don't believe they're the kind of person who can be wealthy. They may imagine a loving relationship, but fundamentally believe they're unworthy of love. To win continuously, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. This involves imagining and feeling yourself as the person who already has what you desire. It's not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. Remember, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential. As you use your imagination to assume your desired states, you are essentially recreating yourself. You are stepping into a new concept of self, a new understanding of who you are and what's possible for you. This revision of self-concept is crucial for continuous winning. As you align your self-concept with your desires, you remove the inner contradictions that can slow down the manifestation process. Now let us explore the role of emotion in never-ending winning. Emotion is the fuel that powers your imaginal acts. It's not enough to merely visualize or think about your desires. You must feel them. When you combine vivid imagination with genuine emotion, you create a powerful impression on your subconscious mind. This is because your subconscious responds more strongly to feeling than to intellectual thought. The emotions you want to cultivate are those you would feel if your desire were already realized. If your desire is for wealth, feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the love, the connection, the companionship. These emotions should be so real, so intense, that when you open your eyes and return to your present circumstances, you carry with you a sense of fulfillment, as if your desire has already been realized. This emotional component is what distinguishes effective manifestation from mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. When you can genuinely feel your desire as an accomplished fact, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. Your subconscious then works tirelessly to bring this feeling into physical manifestation, ensuring your continuous winning. As we near the conclusion of our exploration, remember this. The power to win continuously lies within you. It resides in your ability to imagine vividly, to feel deeply, and to persist faithfully in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The secret to never-ending winning is not determined by external factors, but by the intensity of your belief and the consistency of your imaginal acts. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to create scenes that imply the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the reality of your wish fulfilled with every fiber of your being. Persist in this feeling even when your senses deny it. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world, manifesting your desires with a consistency that ensures you never stop winning. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. You are limited only by your ability to imagine and to feel the reality of your wishes fulfilled. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound mastery of your creative consciousness. The secret to never-ending winning is not something external to you. It is not a technique or a trick. It is the fundamental truth of your being, that you are the creator of your reality. As you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with this truth, you step into a state of continuous creation, of perpetual winning. In your daily life, be vigilant. Be conscious of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions. Choose them wisely, for they are the seeds of your future experiences. Let every thought be a thought of victory, every feeling a feeling of accomplishment, every assumption an assumption of success. For in doing so, you are creating a life of never-ending winning. As you embark on this journey of conscious creation, of continuous winning, know that you are aligning yourself with the very power that creates worlds. You are stepping into your divine birthright as a co-creator of reality. Embrace this power, use it wisely, and let it guide you to a life of unending success and fulfillment. Thank you, and may your journey of conscious creation be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of never-ending winning. The very fact that you are here in this moment reading these words is not a coincidence. It is what I call divine timing. You see, consciousness is the only reality, and your presence here is a manifestation of your readiness for transformation. Let me tell you about the law that governs all manifestation. It's called the law of assumption, and it works with mathematical precision. The mere fact that you're encountering this message is a seed planted in the garden of your consciousness, waiting to bloom into the most magnificent expression of your desired reality. Now, let me share with you what I mean by big changes. Many of you might think of external circumstances, a new job, a relationship, or material success. But I tell you this, the biggest change, the only change that truly matters, is the change in your consciousness. For when you change your consciousness, the outer world has no choice but to conform to your new assumption. In the book of John, it is written, "In the beginning was the Word." This word logos is your consciousness, your awareness of being. And just as you have been drawn to this message by the magnetic pull of your own expanding consciousness, so too will your world reshape itself to match your new understanding. Consider this: everything in your world, every circumstance, every condition, every person playing a role in your life's drama is nothing more than yourself pushed out. They are all states of consciousness that you have occupied or occupying or will occupy. The fact that you're receiving this message is your higher self signaling that you're ready to step into a new state. Let me share with you what I call the law of divine timing. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Your presence here, your awareness of these words, is that divine timing in action. It is your spiritual awakening calling you to a higher state of consciousness. Now let us understand what preparation truly means in the context of consciousness. Many believe preparation involves external actions, but I tell you this, true preparation is a movement within consciousness. It is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled before any external evidence appears. In the scripture it is written, "Before they call, I will answer." This is the perfect law in operation. Your desire for change, your readiness for transformation has already been answered. The very fact that you're receiving this message is the answer preceding your call. Let me tell you about the principle of what I call conscious preparation. When you go to sleep at night, do you prepare your bed? Of course you do. You arrange your pillows, you straighten your sheets. Well, I tell you this, just as you prepare your bed for sleep, you must prepare your consciousness for the manifestation of your desires. But remember, this preparation is not about doing, it is about being. It's not about making things happen. It's about assuming the consciousness of it already being done. The scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness is not physical stillness, but the stillness of knowing that what you desire is already yours. Now, let me share with you what I call the art of spiritual navigation. Just as a ship's captain must understand the stars to navigate vast oceans, you must understand the signs in your conscience to navigate the waters of manifestation. Your encounter with this message is such a sign, a celestial marker guiding you toward your divine destiny. In the book of Genesis, it is written, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to be for signs." These signs are not external phenomena, but states of consciousness. The very stirring within you that drew you to this message is one such sign. It is your I am consciousness recognizing itself in a higher state. Let us explore what I call the law of conscious recognition. You see, when you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, you begin to recognize that everything, every person, every circumstance, every event is yourself pushed out. This message you're receiving is not separate from you. It is you speaking to yourself from a higher state of consciousness. Consider this: in your dream at night, every character, every scene, every dialogue is you. You are the author and the actor of your dream. Similarly, in this waking dream we call life, every experience is you, externalized. Your recognition of this truth is the first step toward conscious creation. Now let me tell you about what I call the principle of imminent transformation. When water reaches its boiling point, it doesn't gradually become steam. The transformation is immediate. Similarly, when your consciousness reaches its point of readiness, transformation isn't gradual, it is instantaneous. Your presence here signals that you're approaching this point of transformation. Let us delve deeper into what I call the mental transformation. In the book of Romans, it is written, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." This renewal isn't about adding new thoughts to old patterns. It's about completely revising your conception of yourself and your world. You see, when a caterpillar enters its chrysalis, it doesn't simply grow wings. It completely dissolves before reforming as a butterfly. This is the nature of true transformation. The changes coming into your life require similar dissolution of old patterns of thinking, old assumptions about what's possible. Let me share with you what I call the principle of conscious dissolution. Before any great change can manifest in your world, you must be willing to let your old self dissolve completely. The very fact that you're receiving this message indicates your readiness for this dissolution. In the book of Corinthians, it states, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye." This change in the twinkling of an eye isn't about time, it's about consciousness. When you truly assume a new state, the transformation is instantaneous in consciousness, though it may take time to unfold in the world of Caesar. Now, let me explain what I call the law of spiritual momentum. Just as a boulder rolling downhill gains momentum, once you begin this transformation in consciousness, it creates its own momentum. Your old world must crumble to make way for the new, just as the shell of an egg must crack for the bird to emerge. Let us now understand what I call the law of divine timing. Many of you might ask, why now? Why this message? Why these changes? I tell you this, in the realm of consciousness, there is no accident, no coincidence. The timing is perfect because your consciousness has decreed it so. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time." This is your own wonderful human imagination. your own I am consciousness. Your imagination has orchestrated this perfect moment of recognition, this divine appointment with your higher self. Consider what I call the principle of spiritual readiness. Just as a fruit ripens at its appointed time, your consciousness ripens for specific revelations and transformations at the perfect moment. The very fact that you're receiving this message is evidence of your spiritual ripeness for the changes that are coming. Let me share with you a profound truth about what I call the law of conscious selection. In your garden, you wouldn't plant seeds until the soil is properly prepared. Similarly, the thing within you wouldn't bring you to this message until your consciousness was prepared to receive it and act upon it. Now understand what I call the principle of imminent manifestation. When a woman is pregnant, there comes a time when birth is imminent. No amount of denial or resistance can prevent it. Similarly, when transformation has been conceived in consciousness, its manifestation becomes inevitable. The changes coming into your life are like that. They have already been conceived in the womb of your consciousness. Your recognition of this message is the first contraction, signaling that birth is imminent. Let me tell you about what I call the law of the conscious recognition. In the book of Matthew, it is written, when you see these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. This seeing isn't physical sight, it's spiritual recognition. Your recognition of this message, as significant as your spiritual eye opening to the proximity of your transformation. You see, consciousness follows a pattern of unfoldment that I call the principle of spiritual gestation. Just as a child develops in the womb according to a perfect pattern, your manifestation develops in consciousness according to divine order. This message is a signal that your spiritual gestation is nearing completion. Now let us understand what I call the law of conscious authority. Many of you might feel that changes happen to you, that you are at the mercy of external circumstances. But I tell you this, you are the operant power. You are the one giving life to every circumstance through your consciousness. In the book of Job, it is written, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. This decree isn't made with your lips, it's made in consciousness. Your presence here receiving this message is itself a decree that you've made in the depths of your being. Consider what I call the principle of divine orchestration. Every event in your life, every circumstance, every encounter is orchestrated by your own wonderful human imagination. There are no accidents in consciousness. Your encounter with this message is a deliberate orchestration of your own higher self. The changes coming into your life aren't random events. They are the perfect unfoldment of your own conscious creation. You see, when water reaches a certain temperature, it doesn't gradually become steam, it transforms instantly. Similarly, consciousness has points of intensity where transformation becomes inevitable. Your presence here marks such a point of intensity. In the book of Revelation, it is written, behold, I make all things new. This making new isn't a gradual process. It's an instant assumption of a new state. The very intensity of your recognition of this message as significant is the heat that transforms the water of your old consciousness into the steam of your new state. Now let me share with you what I call the principle of conscious acceleration. When a rocket reaches escape velocity, it breaks free from Earth's gravitational pull. Your consciousness operates similarly. There comes a point when your new assumptions generate enough momentum to break free from old patterns. Consider what I call the law of spiritual velocity. The speed at which your transformation manifests is directly proportional to the intensity of your assumption. The very fact that you're receiving this message with understanding indicates that you've reached the necessary spiritual velocity for transformation. In the book of Isaiah it states, for as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud. This is the perfect law of consciousness in operation. Once a new state is assumed, it must produce after its kind. Let me tell you about what I call the principle of divine inevitability. When a seed is planted in fertile soil, its growth is inevitable. Your consciousness is that fertile soil, and this message is the seed of transformation being planted within it. In the Gospel of Thomas, which wasn't included in the Standard Bible, it is written, when you make the two one, you will become the sons of man. This making the two one is the marriage of your present consciousness with your desired state. And this message is the bridge between them. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual bridging is operating right now. Every word you're receiving is forming a bridge between your current state and the state you're being called to occupy. This isn't mere coincidence, it's staunchest selection at work. Now understand what I call the law of divine timing. Many of you might wonder why this message, why now? But I tell you this, in the realm of consciousness, timing isn't measured by clocks and calendars, but by spiritual readiness. Your presence here is evidence of your readiness. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it states, he has made everything beautiful in its time. This here is your own wonderful human imagination, your own I am consciousness. It has orchestrated this perfect moment of recognition, this divine appointment with your higher self. Consider what I call the principle of conscious convergence. Just as multiple streams converge to form a mighty river, multiple states of consciousness are converging in this moment to create the perfect conditions for your transformation. This message is the point of convergence. Let me share with you what I call the law of spiritual momentum. When a boulder begins rolling downhill, it generates its own momentum. Similarly, once you begin this transformation in consciousness, it creates its own momentum. Your recognition of this message is the initial push that starts the boulder rolling. In the book of Exodus, it is written, let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. This sanctuary isn't a physical structure, it's a state of consciousness. Your recognition of this message is the beginning of building this sanctuary. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual architectures is at work here. Just as an architect first sees the completed building in his mind, before any physical construction begins, you must see your transformed state in consciousness before it can manifest in your world. Now let me share with you what I call the law of conscious assumption. Many think preparation means taking physical action, but I tell you this, true preparation happens in consciousness. It's the art of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled before any external evidence appears. In the book of Hebrews it states, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This substance isn't physical, it's consciousness itself. Your faith in the significance of this message is the substance from which your transformation will be molded. Consider what I call the principle of divine sequence. Just as a flower must first form a bud before it can bloom, your transformation follows a divine sequence. This message is the bud, your recognition of it as significant is the beginning of its blooming. Let me tell you about what I call the law of spiritual gestation. Just as a child develops in the womb according to a perfect pattern, your transformation develops in consciousness according to divine order. This message marks the beginning of a new gestation period in your consciousness. In the book of Acts, it is written, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. This turning upside down isn't physical, it's a complete revolution in consciousness. Your encounter with this message marks the beginning of your conscious revolution. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual inversion is operating here. Just as a photographic negative must be inverted to produce a positive image, your current state must be inverted to manifest your desired state. This message is the catalyst for this inversion. Now let me share with you what I call the law of conscious precipitation. Just as water vapor must reach a certain point of saturation before it can precipitate as rain, your consciousness must reach a point of saturation with your desired state before it can manifest. This message is accelerating your conscious saturation. In the book of Joel, it states, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. This pouring out isn't something external. It's overflow of your own consciousness when it reaches the point of saturation. Your presence here, receiving this message, indicates that you're approaching this point. Consider what I call the principle of divine acceleration. When a rocket approaches escape velocity, it must burn more fuel. Similarly, as you approach your point of transformation, you need more spiritual fuel. This message is that fuel, intensifying your conscious acceleration. Let me tell you about what I call a law of spiritual criticality. Just as water must reach a critical temperature to become steam, consciousness must reach a critical state for transformation to occur. Your recognition of this message as significant indicates you are approaching this critical state. In the book of Daniel, it is written, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. This shining isn't physical light. It's the crystallization of your new state in consciousness. Your presence here marks the beginning of this crystallization. You see, what I call the principle of spiritual solidification is at work here. Just as a solution must reach supersaturation before crystals can form, your consciousness must reach a point of supersaturation with your desired state before it can crystallize into reality. This message is catalyzing this supersaturation. Now, understand what I call the law of conscious momentum. Many believe change requires constant effort, but I tell you this, once consciousness reaches a certain velocity, it generates its own momentum. Your recognition of this message indicates you've reached this critical velocity. In the book of Isaiah, it states, for as the rain cometh down and returneth not void. This isn't speaking of physical rain. It's speaking of the rain of consciousness. Once your consciousness is saturated with a new state, it must manifest just as rain must fall from saturated clouds. Consider what I call the principle of divine multiplication. Just as a tiny seed contains within it the pattern for an entire forest, your current recognition contains within it the pattern for your complete transformation. This message is that seed being planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Let me share with you what I call the law of spiritual chain reaction. Just as one atomic reaction can trigger a cascade of reactions, one shift in consciousness can trigger a cascade of transformations. Your encounter with this message is initiating this spiritual chain reaction. Let me share with you one final law, what I call the law of conscious culmination. In the book of Revelation, it is written, behold, I stand at the door and knock. This door isn't physical. It's the door of your consciousness. And this message is that knock, calling you to open to your transformation. You see, your presence here isn't just another moment in time. It's what I call the point of divine convergence. Everything in your life has been leading to this moment of recognition. Every experience, every challenge, every triumph has prepared your consciousness for this transformation. Now let me give you what I call the 3 commands of conscious creation that you must follow as you move forward from this moment. First, be still and know. Your external world will try to contradict your new assumption. Signs of change may not be immediately visible, but in consciousness the work is done. You must remain faithful to your new state, regardless of appearances. Second, let it be done unto you. Don't try to make things happen. Don't force. Don't strain. Your only task is to maintain the assumption that what you desire is already yours. The how, the when, the where, these belong to God, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Third, go and tell no man. This isn't about keeping secrets. It's about maintaining the integrity of your conscious creation. Don't dissipate your creative energy by seeking validation from others. Live from your new state quietly, naturally, as though it has always been so. Remember, the changes coming into your life aren't random events. They're the natural outpicturing of your expanding consciousness. This message isn't just information, it's transformation. It's not just words, it's the voice of your own divinity calling you to a higher state. Your presence here, your recognition of these words as significant, is itself the evidence that you're ready. The changes aren't coming, they're here. The transformation isn't approaching, it's occurring now in your consciousness, where all creation begins. So I say to you, the sign you've been waiting for isn't coming. It's here. The preparation you need isn't in the future, it's now. The state you're meant to occupy isn't distant, it's immediate. For consciousness is the only reality, and in consciousness, all things are eternally present. Take this moment now to feel the naturalness of your transformed state. Feel the reality of it. Feel the completeness of it. For in consciousness, it is already done. And now I tell you this, sleep tonight in the assumption that everything I've told you is true. Not because I said it, but because you recognized it in the depths of your own being. Let this be the night that divides your life into before and after. For when you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, you'll know that this message wasn't sent to you. It was sent from you, from the you that you're about to become. The door is open. The time is now. The change is here. For that is the law, and that is the promise.